Can you explain a little bit to people the fire drill, the scramble that happens when you get the call and all of a sudden it's a great moment for you guys, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you heard me talking about this is a moment that you dream of, especially for Jackson. But walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so Ethan had a game so 2 nights ago, and we were at a restaurant in Stillwater having dinner, and I was watching Jackson's game, his Norfolk game, on my phone, and it ended. And so we were eating, and 5 minutes later, my phone rings and it says, Jackson on it, and I'm like, wow, that was quick. He's usually pretty in and out after the game, but I was like, wow, that's super quick. I didn't even, I'm an idiot. Like I didn't even think twice about it. But I was like, hey, bud. And he's like, hey. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, well, they just told me I'm going up tomorrow. And I was like, obviously, that's what? That's great. Awesome. And I was like, did they film it? And at the time, he didn't know. And he was like, no, I don't think so. Buck just called me in and told me that I was going up. And so I'm going up tomorrow. And so, we obviously talk about it. He talks to his mom. I say, well, call your brother, call Ethan. And, we had Grayson and Reed with us. So he called Ethan. And so it sets into the motion of how are we going to get from Stillwater, Oklahoma to Boston in time for the game tomorrow. And this was, at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the night before opening day. So, or for his opening game. So we start checking commercial flights. Getting from Stillwater to Boston is by 6 o'clock is almost impossible. So I have a couple friends that have a private plane, so I never use this sort of chip. So I called my one friend who's older, and I said, hey Ken, I said, can we use your plane to go to Boston tomorrow? I hate to ask, but I'm kind of up against it. And he says, he's got this kind of loud voice. He says, well, Matt. He said, let me check. I'm going to call you back. And I was like, oh, great. So in the meantime, Leslie's like, she's, can we fly out of Oklahoma City? Are we going to have to drive to Dallas? Like, what are we, how are we going to make this work? So he calls me back and he says, well, I got good news and I got bad news. And I was like, okay. He says, there's actually a plane going from Stillwater to Boston on a dead leg or whatever they call it, where there's nobody on it. It's going there anyways. It's a 7-seater. It's going from Oklahoma to Boston tomorrow anyways. And I was like, what could possibly be the bad news? He says, well, the bad news is it's leaving at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Hey,
And
now.
I said, well, we'll take it. We'll happy to jump on that. So we, Pat went home, packed our stuff, got the kids ready, kind of informed everybody that we were going, and jumped on the plane. Got up at 4 the next morning. We were on the plane, and outside of some pretty bad turbulence getting out of Oklahoma, we had a smooth flight in Boston, and we're at the hotel by noon, and had lunch with Jackson, and got to go watch BP and see the game. So it was quick, and thankfully I think the Lord provided us an opportunity to fly on a private. For some reason, I don't know if you guys know, but there's not a ton of planes sitting in Stillwater heading to Boston. No. We don't have a lot of action. Yeah, we don't have a ton of airport action in Stillwater.
Yeah, I can see that. No, it's no offense to Stillwater. Yeah, you're right. I don't think that's like the hot spot that people are like, you know what? I'm going to fly in and fly out. There's not a lot of flights going in and out, but I think at the end of the day, you got to be there. You got to be there on time.